JBL Cinema SB450 is an attractive looking soundbar, offering a number of excellent features for its $500 sticker price. First off is the 4 HDMI ports, which include 4K compatibility. Next, you have Bluetooth in and out via JBL's proprietary Connect system. You also get an optical port and a 3.5mm input. The most distinctive thing about the system though is this huge sub. It's way bigger than most that you see for the money, and it houses an 8-inch bass driver. The system does come with a remote, but you almost need a Rosetta Stone to decode the tiny buttons. Use your TV remote or a universal model instead. If all you want is for dialogue to be louder and explosions to be explodier, the 450 will do that. It's good at that. What it's not good at is subtlety, or music. And there are plenty of soundbars at the same money that can do those things. While JBL's extra HDMI ports are handy, and it offers plenty of home cinema excitement, there are better options for this kind of money, including the LG SH7.
Introducing the Sonos PlayBass. As you can tell, this is an extremely low-profile sound base. It's just over 2 inches tall, and that made it really challenging for Sonos to integrate a subwoofer. We'll get to that in a second. What you can't really see behind this micro-perforated speaker screen are 6 mid-range drivers, 3 tweeters, and 1 subwoofer. Each gets its own individual digital amplifier, so that's 10 digital amps in total. Around back you'll see 3 ports, and you're probably only going to need to use 2 of them. One is for the power cable, and the other is for an optical digital audio cable. Since it's a Sonos product, you're going to control it with your phone or tablet. I've got it loaded up on an iPhone right here. The media room is what we have set up. That's the Sonos PlayBass plus 2 Play 1 surrounds. We can add different musical services if we want to. I've got Spotify on here, but Amazon, audiobooks, all kinds of different stuff available here. But really, you're going to be using this for TV primarily. So if we pull that up, we've got a couple of different options. Volume is immediately accessible at the bottom. We can turn on night listening mode, which reduces the bass and compresses the dynamic range so you don't have those sudden loud explosions. There's also a dialogue enhancement feature. But let's pop into the settings really quick because I think that's what shows the most. Here is where you control your Sonos system. You can add a subwoofer, which might reinforce the bass a little bit for another $700. You can add a boost or a bridge. If you have a whole home audio system, you might want to integrate that as well. But for the PlayBass, you're going to spend most of your time in room settings. So we'll pick our media room system here. You'll see TruePlay tuning up at the top. We've got it turned on because we've already done the process. This is where it emits some sounds while you walk around the room waving your phone around. So it's Sonos. It's simple. We get that. But how does it sound? Well, for TV and movies, it sounds excellent. Definitely the best sound bass that we've tested thus far.
While UK viewers will probably be familiar with speaker manufacturer Q Acoustics, the brand has only just arrived in the United States. The Media 4 soundbar is one of its first products, and I must say it's a really strong beginning. The Media 4 is a stereo soundbar which incorporates a rectangular 6-inch subwoofer on board. While the Sonics can't compete with soundbars with separate subs, the Media 4 has excellent dynamics compared to its Samsung and Zvox competition. The Q Acoustics is relatively large for a soundbar and features a trapezoidal shape. This helps to make room for the connections at the back, especially when wall mounting. The Media 4 doesn't offer HDMI, but it does have optical, 2 analog inputs, and Bluetooth. Be aware that if you use the speaker on a tabletop, it's 3.5 inches tall, so it may block your TV's infrared port. We found the soundbar was equally good at movies and music, though it could sound a little closed in with voices. There was also no real bass to speak of, and so the Zvox SB500 is better there. However, if you want to add a sub, you can. There is a subwoofer output. You can also add the matching Q Acoustics model for an extra $300. But the Media 4's main attraction is its simplicity. No modes to mess with, just turn it on and it sounds really good. It's well built and it's relatively good looking. It's definitely one to look out for at its $400 price point. The Sony HDST5000 is part of a small group of soundbars that try to do the seemingly impossible. Generate surround and height effects from a speaker that sits underneath your TV. Given the modest dimensions of this system, the Sony does better than most, with a very natural performance regardless of the content. And yet, the biggest drawback is its price. At $1,500, it's more expensive than our current favourite, the Samsung HW-K950, plus it lacks surround speakers. But there's a whole lot the Sony does right. It's attractively designed with these distinctive coaxial drivers, and they work in tandem with these top-mounted drivers which do a good job of bouncing effects off your ceiling. There's no such thing as future-proof these days, but the Sony is at least up to date, with 3 HDR-compatible HDMI ports. The speaker also offers Wi-Fi streaming with Chromecast built in, which lets you cast from Spotify or your phone to this speaker or around your house. Of course, the speaker also does Bluetooth. The Sony only supports Dolby Atmos and not rival format DTS:X, but there is a whole lot more content for Dolby right now anyway. With the large dedicated subwoofer, the Soundbar is able to put in a convincing performance with movies and music. Dialogue is clear and bass effects are felt just as well as they are heard. Music is perfectly natural sounding, which is something that is very hard to pull off with any soundbar. The Samsung HW-Ms650 is a new type of soundbar which is designed to produce deep bass without a subwoofer. Though there are models out there which can do an even better job, such as the Zvox SB500, the Samsung nevertheless offers very good sound quality in a single box. Where the Samsung pulls away from competitors is in the number of features it houses. The MS650 not only offers 4K HDR video in and out over HDMI, but also offers a number of different music streaming options. The Soundbar is part of Samsung's multi-room system and can play Pandora, Spotify or your own music over Wi-Fi in these or multiple speakers. While you can use this soundbar with any TV, it's designed to be used with a recent Samsung. It lets you play the sound from a 2017 TV over Wi-Fi without connecting any cables. It also comes with an onboard power socket which lets you connect a TV and cuts down on the number of wall sockets you need. Where the Samsung pulls ahead of rivals is in how well it can play music. It sounds clear and natural, and the onboard sub goes low enough that bass lines and bass drums are still punchy. We would still love the ability to add a sub though. When it comes to home cinema, it may not be the most boisterous or exciting speaker on the market, but it does a decent job of making dialogue intelligible. For $450 or £550, the Samsung HW-Ms650 is a decent soundbar with a lot of features.